What a pretty fall day. Frida, Reba, Darcy, and Patricia O'Connor here. And today, on the Bonsai balcony, we're going to go out and just see how things are looking. Uh, we've had a lot kind of coming at us when it comes to changes. We've had a lot of changes weather-wise. Recently, we would go from our normal pleasant temperate temps, and then we would go up and do a little quick skyrocket near 80 or 90. And even then, uh, my thermometer concludes that it's always 5 or 10 degrees hotter up here on the fourth floor than it is at ground level. So whenever I see the temperatures and they seem mild, and I go, it seems hotter than that up here, it's only because it is. So it's not even, but that isn't really what our issues have been, if we've had any. It's the change from back to forth. You know, we get hot and then it gets cool again, and then it gets hot and rains a little, and then it gets cool again, and the trees are going back and forth in their water needs. So I'm looking at my pines and I'm going, yeah, this guy's okay, this guy's okay, this guy's okay, this guy's okay. And at the same time I'm going, and they don't look as good as they looked a little while ago. It's because it's fall and they're starting to just look a little yellow. It's been a long time without the fertilizer that these guys just went back on. And some days they look like they need water, and I'm about to go to work, and so I'll water so they won't go dry while I'm gone. And then the temperatures are so cool that as far as the trees were concerned, they just stayed wet for 2 days. So, you know, that balance game keeps some of our guys looking a little yellower than I would like. But all the while, we're trying to balance the needs of water versus too much water in a scenario where the temperatures are fluctuating by about 20 degrees during the week. And our water usage goes up a lot on the trees. It changes. That I don't mean it goes up a lot. I mean it changes drastically during those temperature fluctuations. So that kind of makes riding the bicycle or balancing your needs slightly tricky. And I would rather hedge. I don't know that anybody has ever said any different. But personally, I would rather hedge on the side of a little too much water if there's a chance that we could lose a tree because of too little water. So if given those two scenarios, ponderosas seem to be happy, and our pines do seem to be, on the whole, happy. I just don't like the amount of yellow I see on some of these guys, and I am a little concerned when I see that, always. But usually like a day or two of holding back on the water when I'm here and I can watch them closer, then I green them up. And then we go into our iffy water scenarios when I'm about to leave for work, and I have to try to decide what it's going to do for the rest of the day. Like my little tree's lives depend on it. And then we start seeing, but everybody's doing okay. I think everybody's doing okay. Let's just have a look at some of these guys. Y'all know this tree Y'all know this tree as buck 50. Buck 50. This was our $50 no holler uh, challenge tree. And I should probably look. I'm looking close. I'm liking everything about what it's doing. I'm not going to pull any wire off yet. It's biting in a little. It can go ahead. You can go ahead and bite in a little. I'm not even sure if I'm going to remove the wire from all of these. You've seen me complain several times about sweet pea being allowed to eat the wire that was used to grow it, and that's concerning. It is. I'm not gonna lie. That's concerning. But to me, it was. But I don't know. I don't know that I might not repeat those steps. Whenever I release the wire from Frankenpine, it relaxed so much that I felt like I had to go right back in and try to pull all of those circles in really tight again. And I don't completely feel like I ever quite got it. I like what it's doing. I like the way it looks. No harm, no foul there. But those cute little tight little Cheerios that I had going, once I cut it loose, and the bends held, but they relaxed. It's like it still had curls, but the curls relaxed. And I don't think I ever quite got them back. So I kind of see why you might leave the wire on. It causes the tree to get fatter. The bark, the tree will eat it. It'll just squeeze up around it and just, and you won't have lost any of that ground by unwiring it. It's always easier if you don't. When you put that many bends in something, the wire can be tricky to remove. That's not a reason not to do it. The other reasons are reasons to consider it, and I am. So that's kind of where we're at there. I'm pretty happy with our lot of trees. Here's a little quick look back here at our seedlings. I think we're at like 30 seedlings is what our number was. And they're all doing pretty good. I've got a lot of clover coming up here in the trees too. I need to go pulling clover. Most of the clover is out of the pot. Maybe this one needs a lot of pruning. But a lot of this clover that I'm seeing is actually in my drip trays. It's easier to pull because drip trays are very shallow. They can't dig in and hang on. But I got a lot to remove on this one. This is a good time to go through and start cleaning up the trees. This is a good time to start maybe getting rid of a few of those dead needles. Don't always remove all the dead needles. Pines store hormones and stuff in those, and you could be getting rid of its stash when you get rid of all the old needles. So watch out for that. But I don't mind cleaning it. But it's always good to clean up. And some of the underside too. The undersides could be cleaned up. Last night I did a little bit more cleanup on this tree that I think I'm going to call Bingo. It's the one that I won on the auction a couple of weeks ago on a Facebook bonsai auction. So yeah, and also I was just somebody was talking to me about this tree this morning. I was having correspondence, and a couple of weeks ago there was a tree that looked very, very much like like one of our Cheerios, except maybe 10 years from now, when it was starting to grow bark. And I got really excited because I thought the tree was beautiful. It was like looking at one of my little trees and then going, plus 10 years, this plus 10 years. And so I thought I bid borderline a lot of money for it. I mean, not a lot of money really, but for what it was, I thought I bid quite a bit of money on it. And I was outbid by midweek. So I was kind of like, And that tree went for a couple of $1,000, and it was a show hen. So I gotta say, I found it very, very encouraging just to one, see that tree 10 years down the line after somebody had put the same Cheerios you've seen me put in trees, and seeing how they look later was very, very encouraging. And seeing the response that the tree got on the auction was also very, very encouraging. So yeah, I just thought I would share that. By the by, I saw a tree like the ones we're making on a bonsai auction that was 10 years from now, and A, it looks really cool, and B, people really seem to like it at the auction. It went for quite a bit more than I had bid, which I thought was a lot. So yeah, our oaks are looking good. Both of them are doing. The other one's way on the other end. They're looking good. I think for the next couple of nights when I do videos, I'm just going to bring in 3 or 4 pines. It's probably been 6 months since I've done that. I'll bring in 3 or 4 little mame and show hens, and I will just do a little bit of cleaning up. I could probably make the whole lot of them look a little better, and otherwise, this is just kind of the way that this time of year does for our trees. But yeah, that does give me stuff to do too. And yeah, let's look over here. Our ponderosas. Our ponderosa is doing, I think it's doing pretty good. I was concerned about it can take extremely high heat. It takes heat. It can take heat that is quite often much higher than what it will get here. But as I've stated before, normally this tree's growing season, is about 4 months. And in that 4 months, it can see some pretty high temps and maybe not a lot of water. And then winter comes early and hard. And then the tree will spend a long time under snow and heavy and all that stuff. And it kind of does tend to shrink them. That's why Hoss is so little for a tree of its age, whatever that age is. It's we can just look at the development of the tree and we know that it's over 20 years old, and it's was dated to be 26 years old, so I think that's probably close enough. And that's on my little one, but it's 26-year-old tree that's about that tall. So yeah, this guy, at some point I'm really looking forward to repotting this. And the distance from here to here is almost 19 inches, and we can see the root going to here, and we can see the base going subterranean right about here. So I wouldn't guess that I could shrink this area much. I mean, I could lift it up and tilt it and all that, and that might be something very worthwhile to do. But I think I'm pretty well, if I want to buy a bonsai pot, from a picture or something and going by the dimensions, I'm pretty sure this opening here needs to be at least 19 inches. Um, I think a round or those or if it were a rectangle, those slightly pot-bellied ones with the real pretty feet, either go that way or go the opposite way and do the American Canyon tree look, where people are taking glazed pots and just really going crazy with the texture and the bark like look that is reminiscent of bark, and then sometimes reminiscent of canyon walls. That's kind of a it's kind of a thing I've seen people doing with their ponderosas and their junipers. So I'm kind of bouncing some ideas around about uh, what I would like to see this ponderosa potted in whenever we get to an opportunity to do that. In a little while, it's going on a road trip. We're going to take it to Peter T's garden, um, a little farther up north from here, about I think about 2 hours north of here, and it will overwinter there, which will have it uh, in climatary conditions a little bit more to its liking. I think, having said that, the biggest problem with our summers is they tell me they don't get hot enough. And that's the part I'm worried about, because when it does get hot here, it gets hot here at a time when the tree was traditionally already starting to see winter or cool fall temps. So it's not that the tree can't do 90, it's that the tree might not like 90 in October when it was already starting to put on its, thermals or whatever kind of an idea. So that's just some rule of thoughts on my ponderosa and what's going on there. I'm pretty happy with the work, that the little bit of styling that we did to it. I hope I got away with it. I had